Hi everybody, it's Matthew here from Bead Spider, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make some fantastic little beaded, peyote beaded pen wraps, perfectly in time for Christmas. So we've got a few people popping on already, which is always great. So once you arrive, jump on, say hello, pop in a little comment down there, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, pop in a message and say hi. So yeah, I'm quite excited for today's little video. I think it's going to be very, very fun one. I know we had a couple of technical difficulties with the last video I did on Wednesday, but thankfully I think I've managed to fix all of the issues, for the most part at least. Because I couldn't quite show you everything, the stream sort of started dying a little bit towards the end there. I've decided that after I do this little pen wrap, because it shouldn't take me too long, I'm going to recap a little bit about the woven chain, and I'm going to do that 5-strand plait with the woven chain, the flat woven chain as promised, which is this little design. It's a very, very quick little tutorial, so I'm going to show you also at the end of this pen wrap tutorial how to make, it's almost like a little bonus tutorial. Let's see if I can stick it on the on the table here. Here we go. I'm also going to show you how to make this gorgeous 5-strand plait with flat woven chain. I'm going to do a little recap, as it were. But yeah, so thanks for joining me, everybody. Let's see who we've got here today. So we've got, looks like Oliomi, maybe? I'm not quite sure if I can say that right. Thank you for joining. I hope you are having a lovely day. We've got Allison is here as well. We've got Ines Martinez, which has given me a little waving dog. Doris is here as usual. We've got, who else? We've got Elaine, which says, is this the brick stitch tutorial today? No, today is even count peyote. I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these gorgeous little pen wrap fellas just here. So see that? This one is with the snowflakes. We've also got one which is like a Christmas lights look. There's the top. There we go, Christmas lights. I've got a Santa's one here as well. There's 5 in total, which if you want to check out the little link in the description, you can watch, you can get all 5 of these patterns, but please, I do definitely recommend getting our super bundle. It's 1/3 off, and it includes lots and lots of different goodies included. So, in your bundle, if you want to get the Christmas Beaded Charms Super Bundle, which is going to be tomorrow's brick stitch tutorial and today's pen wrap tutorial in one, I'm going to be showing you both of those tutorials in the one little session, as it were. So today is going to be the pen wraps. Tomorrow is going to be the brick stitch. So hopefully you will all be able to enjoy that. But as I said, the mega Christmassy super bundly type thing is going to be including the pen wraps. You'll get a free pen in there as well, because these are the Pilot G2 pens, which are these ones here, which are perfect for pen wrapping just because they've got this perfect little spot where it can make them interchangeable. See that? You can just slide off your little handle there, screw it back on when you've changed your pen wrap. So we did quite a few of these little pen wraps for Christmas as well, but hopefully I will be able to show you everything for oh, sorry, Jermaine's just handed me a little something just here, which I'm going to need to show you. But anyway, so I'm going to show you the purple, the full pack of what you would get. So we've got all of these gorgeous Christmassy colored Delica beads. This comes included, again, as I've said to you, if you haven't seen it, there's a link in the description that will show you where you can get all, you can get this mega Christmas super bundle that we've done, which was going to have all of these little brick stitch patterns included. So there's going to be 27 brick stitch patterns included. I'll just put myself up in the corner. I think I might be a bit jerky for some reason, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, so I've got the brick stitch patterns, which is going to be tomorrow. That's included. You get these 6 perfectly Christmassy colors. The pen wraps are included as a free gift, and you also get the free pen included as well. So all of these beads, you get 4 different patterns. So one on how to do peyote stitch, one on how to do brick stitch. You get a load of findings as well. So if you saw our Halloween super bundle, it's quite similar, but this one is our Christmas bundle. So lots and lots of findings, lots and lots of beads. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring the findings in here, but I'll show you them all tomorrow because that's a bit more related to tomorrow's design. And then, as I said, I've got all of those different patterns. So 27 different Christmas patterns, and then 5 different patterns for doing these pen wraps as well. It looks like my face cam has decided to die for some reason all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on with that one, but I guess it's just going to be you, me, and my hands today. Let's see, who have we got joined us today so far as well? So, lots and lots of people here. We've got Jane, we've got Jax, we've got Susan, Louise, Connie's here as well. Tina from Finland, Purple Penny as often is here. Amma is here as well. What else have we got? Oh, good. I'm glad Jack says, you're not a jerk, Mathew. Well, if we have a look at my face cam, maybe I am a little bit jerky today. Ready? Ready? Look. So jerky. Sorry. Oh, no. But yeah, hopefully my face will sort of catch up with me today, and we can actually use my little mini face in the corner, but I have a feeling it's not going to work for some reason. The good news is, maybe for tomorrow it shouldn't be a problem anymore, because I think I've found the issue and we've sort of improved the system, so hopefully it won't be an issue anymore. But anyway, let's get started. I'm going to show you how to do this, one of our little peyote stitch pen wraps. So let's see, hopefully the comments are working. Yes, here we go. So tomorrow's tutorial, we've just had Elaine ask, what time tomorrow? Is it 3 p.m. again? The answer is yes, 3 p.m. tomorrow. So we're doing 3 p.m. Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So if you want to join in and be part of the shows and learn all of these things, that is the perfect time to come and join us. So first things first, I'm going to show you how to read. Elaine has also asked, how much for the kits of everything, please? I'll just pop the little comment on the screen if I can. Oh, Robin says, good morning, Mathew. Good morning to you too, Robin. Thank you for joining. Let's put Elaine's little comment up. Here we go. How much for the kits for everything, please? So if you get our big Christmas bundle, you will receive in there, it's usually £35. We're doing it for £24.95. So you're saving a tenner, which is almost a third. It's about 30% off that you will save on that little pattern set just there. So £24.95p, which is about 30% off if you get that bundle, which includes the free gift, all the patterns for both the brick stitch and also the pen wraps, and you get a pen included as well. But we do also have, as of today, 4 different colors of pen that you can purchase if you want to get extra pens. So there's not too many of the red and the green, but we got lots of black and lots of blue. So if you want to get those, we do have those for sale as well. Right, let's get started with our tutorial, shall we? You can see I'm excited, I'm ready to go. First thing, I'm going to show you how to read a peyote pattern. So if I show you this one just here, this is the peyote, the candy cane pen wrap that I'm going to show you today. The patterns that you get in the pattern pack, there's the candy cane pattern wrap, there is the Santa jacket and his belt, you've got a snowman with a scarf on, you've got the Christmas lights, and then what was the 5th one? The snowflakes. So snowflakes, candy cane, the Christmas lights, Santa shirt, and a snowman with a scarf as well. All of these together the little peyote reader thing, this fella here, it comes included with the brick stitch patterns. So I had the front page, I could have showed you. It has full diagrams and instructions on how to do peyote, but it also includes the little peyote shape cutout that you can make. So let's have a look at this just here. So this is our peyote pen wrap pattern. You can see they're 42 beads long and 21 beads down. So that gives you the perfect size that you need for doing your finished pen wrap. I am also going to show you, hopefully it will come into focus now, how to do these nice little beaded picots around the edges as well. So that's why the pen wraps, they're a little bit smaller than the full length. So today's tutorial, here we go. So let me just show you exactly. Here we go. I've got that front page for you. Jermaine has cut out the little reader which was at the bottom just here. That's why it says pattern reader, cut me out. That's just here. But we do also have full instructions on how to do peyote as well, which you're about to see some of those diagrams in a minute. But first things first, let's begin. So rows 1 and 2 are the very first rows that you stitch. So if we have a look, you can see Jermaine's been marking this off because she started a pattern. When you start a peyote pattern, you get rows 1 and 2 together at the same time. So if you see, it's full 42 beads across. So 5 of color A, 6 of color B, 8 of color A, 6 Bs, 8 As, 6 Bs, 3 As. That's row 1 and 2 combined, which if we have a look at that, the odd row, which is row 1, is this little section. Oh, they're not quite fully cut out, but that's okay. So row 1 is this little section here. So see that? That should be showing you there's A, B, 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 A, B, B, and so on. That's row 1. And then if we flip it over to have a look at our even rows, the pattern reader can I buy on its own? It only comes included with the set because it's sort of the same size. Because when you print them, you want to have a pattern reader that's the same size. The pattern only is online as well. So if you head to the little link in the description, quite a few people asking if they can get it on their own. Yes, if you head to the link in the description, you can get our little pen wrap patterns included. So there, here we go. Now you can see here is rows 1 and 2 at the same time. So I'll just slide that over. So you can see row 1 is A, then row 2 is another A, so A. This is rows 1 and 2. So you can sort of see, it shows you, unfortunately, Jermaine didn't have time to cut them all out for me, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, you'll see, if you want to do the odd rows, you use this little odd row start, so then it will cover all the even rows and only show you the odd row beads. And then you can flip it over as well, and then that will, looking all messy on the back because it's not quite cut out, but it doesn't matter. So then you also have a look, the even row start here, which is this little end here, will show you all the even row beads. So you just sort of rotate it round, and that will show you the even and odd rows. So have a looking just over here. You can see if we line it up with the odd row there, finishing there, it goes... So there you go. You can see your even row ending just here. So there's your even rows in those little gaps in between. So there's row 2. If we rotate it round again, you can see these are the beads of row 3. So here they all are. There's row 3 here. So there's, whoops, I'm off screen there. I'm not quite zoomed out. So there you go. See, look, odd row starts here. So there's row 3 inside the little teeth now. Then we want to have a look at row 4. I'll show you the opposite side because that's what's cut out. So row 4 now, if we fill that gap, there you go. There's row 4 showing. And so that's how you can sort of see it using this little pattern cutout that does come included with the patterns. I will also show you, of course, you can just look at it visually if that's how you work, but otherwise, down here at the bottom, we do also include the full chart of text for all of the different patterns that we do. So rows 1 and 2 rows 1 and 2, which is what I'll show you. Then you've got row 3 there, which will fill in the gaps. then row 4, which will fill the gaps. But let's get started so you can sort of get the idea. So I'll sort of stop explaining theoretically, and let's start showing you how to start the pattern. So first thing we're going to do is have a look at the text. You can use the pattern revealer or shower if you prefer, whichever's easier for you. Whatever works best for you, that's what you can do, but I'm going to have a look at these little patterns. So I like to lay out my beads in a row. So I'll lay out rows 1 and 2. You do thread them both at the same time, rows 1 and 2 at the beginning. Morning to Tina, who's just joined us. Morning, Tina. Thanks for dropping by. Who's new, by the way? I'd love to know. Don't forget, like, share, all of that jazz, as we always do. But yeah, so I'll use my red and my white because I'm doing the candy cane. It's a nice, easy one to show you with. So if we have a little look at my image chart, we can say all of these ones with A's, that's white, and all the ones with B's are red. And then because we start here, we can see, if we have a look at the visual pattern, because we're doing rows 1 and 2 together, you can see A, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number A's. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 number B's. But to save you all of this counting, which if you can see, there's an L there, which means we're working towards the left. So we start over on the right and we work towards the left. So then we've got 5A, 6B, 8A, just exactly the same as that. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8A. You can see it's exactly the same there. All the counting is done there for you. But yeah, so let's lay them out and then I'll show you how we'll begin. So if A is the white and B is the red, I'll lay out just a little pile of red beads here. Don't forget, included in the set, you do also get this lovely blue, which is the one that I've used in this pen wrap. You can see it's got an AB coating that makes it look absolutely spectacular. It doesn't want to focus, but you can see that beautiful color of the blue in that one. You've also got your black beads because they're super common that you're going to want to use them. You've got a really nice green, which it looks a bit brighter than it is in reality. It's a little bit darker than this wants to show. I think it's quite catching the light really nicely. You've also got a gorgeous silver line gold, which looks really shiny there as well. And then, of course, you've got your white and your red. So perfect. They are size. Nancy's just asked, what size are the beads? I'll pop it on the screen here. What size beads? These are size 11 Delica beads, because Delica beads work fantastically for when you're doing peyote. So, as I said, I'll just lay out some red ones, lay out some white ones, and let's get started. So they're size 11 Delica beads. Right, so if we have a little look, the chart, it said 5 A's, so what I like to do is count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I personally, this is how I work, I lay them all out in a row at the beginning. So 5 A's, 6 B's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 B's, just there. Then I've got 8 A beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, that's 9. There we go, so 8 beads is it? Yep, there's 8 beads there. Then I need to do 6 more of the B. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Then I've got 8 more A's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then finally we've got 6 B's and 3 A's. So 6 more B's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And finally we finish off with 3 A beads. 1, 2, 3. Now, once we've got our little beads all sorted, I'm going to take my thread, which I had a thread. I lost a thread. It's disappeared on me. Oh well, I'll just cut a new thread. So I'm working with Spider-Lon thread, as always, because I do love the Spider-Lon thread. So I've got them just here. Have I got any scissors anymore? Apparently I don't. Yes, I do. Here we go. So yes, let me just cut myself a piece of thread, seeing as I've seemed to have lost the other one. There we go. About 1 meter to 2 meters, whatever's sort of comfy for you. Whichever one you prefer, the sort of length of thread, you may have to lengthen it along the way, but that's fine. I might show you how to do that too. But essentially 1 to 2 meters, and then you pop on your needle onto the end. So as always, the great thing about Spider-Lon is it's super easy to thread your beads onto the needle there. So there we go. And the first thing we do, because today I've got my diagrams all working, let's just pop them up into the corner here. Here we go. So here's diagram number 1. Actually, I'll make it nice and big for you. Here's diagram number 1. Linda McConnell has just asked, how much is the kit in US dollars? I will pop that on the screen. I'm not sure exactly how much it is today. I'll get Jermaine to Google that one, and she'll comment in with the price in US dollars, and I'll get back to you very, very shortly there, Linda. So yeah, what we need to do, first thing, you can see at the bottom here, I've got a stopper bead. So I'll show you how to add on a stopper. It's super duper easy. Just pick any bead that isn't one of the colors that you're using. So because I'm using red and white, I'm going to go with a nice gold bead here, which is going to be my stopper. So what I'm going to do is just thread through that bead. I want to leave myself a little tail so that if I want to do some picoing at the end, like I have with this little fella, see how it's got that little picot of beads around the edge here? You need to leave yourself about maybe 20 or 30 centimeters, maybe a little bit more, so that you can add those little picot beads. Hopefully, here we go. So once you thread your little stopper bead on to your thread here, you go through it once, go through it twice, and then, in fact, I might even go through it one more time, a third time. Whoops, it's just moved a bit up my thread there. Slide it back down. Zoom out a little so we can see what I'm doing. Get it into position where we need it to be. So about, like I said, about 20 centimeters from the end of your thread, and then go through that bead 1/3 time just to really lock it in place. So there we go. That's locked in there now. 3 times I've gone through it. Purple Penny has asked, do you ever use a spring stopper? Yes, you can certainly use those. I do have those, but personally I find a bead is nice and easy, but otherwise the spring stoppers, which we do sell on our website, they are great as well. So having a look at that little diagram, essentially we just have to thread through all of our beads. I'll just move these out of the way. Maybe I'll have a sip of tea. And then you can see here is my little row of all of my beads just here, and I just need to thread them up. So, as I said, we are doing both rows 1 and 2 simultaneously right now. So, if anyone's looked up how much £24.95 is in US dollars, just Googled it, please do comment in and let me know how much £24.95 is in US dollars, so I can let all of you Americans know how much that actually is. So, oh, yes, Jax asked, what size needle am I using? I'm using a size 11. So if ever you get any of our kits, for example, the one that I'm selling today, it will include needle and thread. We give you the Spider-Lon thread, but we also give you that nice size 11 needle, which I really like because it's nice and fine, but also the eye is a little bit bigger than a size 12 needle. So let's thread up all of these beads in one row and slide them down to our stopper bead. Has anyone found the price in dollars for me yet? I don't know if Jermaine's quite watching. I think it's going to be a busy day today, so I don't know if... great. It's about $32, says Jermaine. So how much is the kit in US dollars? There we go. It's about $32, and you get all of those delicas, you get the pen, you get all the patterns, you get a whole load of findings included so that you can turn all the little brick stitch patterns into charms. You've got like a necklace chain, all sorts of different things. You'll see tomorrow when I do tomorrow's video all of the different findings that you've got, but there's loads and loads of findings included. All of these different things are there so that you've got stuff to make with them. Plus you've got the patterns for the charms, you've the brick stitch charms, you've got the patterns for all 5 of the pen wraps. You've also got the instructions for how to use the findings, plus how to do our brick stitch. All the full 3220 apparently. 3220 it is, slightly more accurately. But yeah, so there you go. You do also get our complete guide to brick stitch included, plus you've got peyote instructions. All of these different things are included as well. So lots and lots of very useful patterns. Great. Now, I've done rows 1 and 2. So as you can see, I started on my pattern over here, and I've worked all the way to the left. So just like my little text said, we're going to be working towards the left, which my little instruction here tells you how to read a peyote pattern. All of that is included as well, of course, how to do it. So each row of the word chart are denoted by either L or R. This refers to the direction you'll be working in this row. So just like I showed you, now that we're on to row 3, because we did both row 1 and 2 at the same time, row 3, we're now working towards the right. So that means now, if we look at our pattern, we've gone all the way across, and we're going to start working backwards in this direction. And if I show you on my little cutout machine, that means that we're going to be working, whoops, just move it over a teeny weeny bit, on row 3. So because that's an odd row, I can lay that down, just get that out the way, and you can see here, 1A, 1, 2, 3 Bs, 1, 2, 3, 4 As, 1, 2, 3 Bs, 1, 2, 3, 4 As, and so on, all the way along, which is corroborated perfectly. 1A, 3 Bs, 4 As, 3 Bs, all the way along. So I'll just lay those out very, very quickly. So you can see that little pattern does kind of help you, the little chart piece. So 1A, pop it just above here. 1A, then how many have we got? 3 Bs. So 1, 2, 3. It's much, much quicker to lay them out once you've got past row 1 and 2. It's much, much quicker. So 3 little bee beads just here. By the way, you do get 5 grams of each color, so you will have plenty to be making things. 4 A's just there. Then we need how many more? 3 more B's. Ooh, I did 1 too many. 3 more B's. 4 more A's. 1, 2, 3, 4 A's. Make sure to keep them separated. I'm trying to go through it as nice and slowly as possible for all of you complete beginners who've never done peyote stitch before. I'm doing it nice and slowly so that you can all sort of catch along. So 1, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, and then finally I need to finish with 3 A beads. So 1, 2, 3 A beads. And now what I'm going to do, if I just zoom in a little, and I'll show you the next instruction just here. Fade that. What we're going to do is pick up the first bead. Yes, A is white and B is red. So if we look at my little pattern, Jax has just asked, is A white and B red? Yes. So if we look at the little pattern just there, the first thing I'm going to do is take the first bead for the next row, and I'm going to skip that bead at the very end of rows 1 and 2 and weave down the second bead. So I'll just pop it up into the corner for you, have a sip of tea. And here is my little row of beads. This is rows 1 and 2. So I need to skip this little bead. If we looked at that little instruction, I'm going to be skipping this bead just here, pick this fella up, the first bead of my row, and I'm going to thread down into the second bead down. So obviously if you're holding this in your hand, it's a lot easier, but I'm going to try and show you on the table so that it will be nice and clear so you can absolutely see everything that I'm doing. I'll also put it into right-handed view because I know you guys do love it in right-handed view usually. So if I just pull that nice and tight, hopefully you'll see there. that the two beads end up perfectly sitting, whoops, pull that nice and firm, perfectly sitting side by side. So that's going to create what's called an up bead and a down bead. We'll continue on now. So I'll do the first few rows, then I'm going to jump ahead. So down now, so we'll skip the next bead. If I just jump over to the instructions again, I'm going to pick up one bead, skip a bead, and thread through the next bead as well. So pick up my next bead. I'm coming out of this bead here, so I need to, let's zoom in a bit more. There we go. So I'm just going to pull that a little bit tighter. I'm going to skip this bead here and go into the next bead. See that? So I've skipped. Let's move it over a little. There we go. There we go. So through there and pull that nice and tight. I'll put it into right-handed view, but we might lose the instruction when I do that. I'll just have a look. Right-handed view. Here we go. So there it is now in right-handed view for all of you. Is that easier? Is that better? What do I look under in the shop to buy the full kit, says Elaine. So Elaine, if you are on the home page of our website, it should be right there for you available. Otherwise, the easiest place, Elaine, is if you have a look in the description there, it should have just above just at the top, come on, brain, you can do this. Oh my goodness, my brain is completely fried. The link is up in the description. There we go, description. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. So just up the top in the description, there's a little link that says, check out the pen wrap. The big kit is right there. So you can just click on that and it will show you where they all are. But yeah, so let's progress on now. Now that it's in right-handed view, I'll just show you the instructions nice and big each time. Here we go. So now that I've threaded on the next bead, I'll just continue in that same way. So I'll add one bead, then we'll just make sure it's all nice and tight. So you can see the two beads are sitting nicely next to each other. I'll pick up my next bead, and skipping one bead, we'll go down into that next one just there. I think Jermaine's going to put the link in the comments for you so that you'll be able to see those, so you can see exactly where to get that little product from as well. So just my bead mat, my thread just got caught on my bead mat there, as always. So let's just flip that back over, pull this nice and tight. Like I said, this does work much, much better if you are doing it in your hand, which I'll show you a good way of holding it in a minute. But just for the first couple of rows, I'm going to show you how to get it looking nice and tight on the bead mat so you can see what's going on the whole way. So there we go. Right, so Jermaine's just put the link up there in the description for you now. It should be available to find all the products from today's tutorial. So again, let's have a little look. I'm going to add the next bead all the way until I get to the very, very end. So as we've been doing, we pick up one bead, skip a bead, and down into the next bead. So just pull that nice and tight. Again. There we go. And you can see they sort of start to come together, as long as you've got it nice and tightly, into these little jaggedy bits like this. So then I'll take my next bead. Coming out of this bead, so I'll skip this one here and go into the next bead. So there we go, pull that nice and tight as well. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, everyone, by the way. So there you go, we can see it's sort of starting to come together. I'll pick up my next bead. We're going to skip this one here and go down into the next. And you just sort of continue along until you get all the way to the very, very end. So see how they're sort of coming together? If you keep your thread nice and tight, I'll show you a good way. I'll just zoom out and I'll hold it in my hand so that we can see exactly how I like to hold it. So I hold it in one hand like so. Hopefully it will focus with my beads sitting like this. I like to hold my thread between my pinky and ring finger so that it will keep a nice firm tension. So see here, I'll pick up one bead, skip the one below. So if we have a nice little look, I'm coming out of this bead, skipping this, and into the next. See that? And I'm still holding it like this to keep my tension nice and firm until I've got it pretty much at the very, very end. And then that will help me to bring it nice and tight. If you need to as well, if your stopper's a little bit loose, you can sort of just slide it back up so that it's staying nice and firm there. And that should help you to keep your tension. So now that I've got my bead coming out the bottom again, I'll grip it between those two fingers. Pick up my next, wait a minute, hopefully it'll focus now. There we go. Pick up my next bead. Skip a bead here. So I'm coming out of this one. Skip the next bead. And through that one there. Pull that nice and tight. My stopper keeps slipping. Clearly I needed to go through the stopper one more time. Doesn't matter if it keeps coming loose, you can always go through it again. So there we go. Pick up another bead. Skip one. And pull that nice and tight. Oops, got caught on my finger, didn't it? Of course it did. And you just sort of keep going down exactly the way we are to make sure they're all sort of coming in that nice sort of jaggedy shape just there. So there we go. And the next one. Through that next bead. Oops, sorry, just a bit out of shot there. So there you go. You can see I've skipped a bead, going through the next. And I'm just working along my row. The good thing is, because I've laid out my beads already, I don't even have to think about what bead is next. It's just on the table for me. So I can just sort of continue along. Shazianne says, I tend to work away from me. Less work on the wrist. Well, I can do that too. I'll show you that one too. In case you guys want to see, I'll show you how to hold it. I still hold it the same way, but if you want to work away from yourself, just flip it upside down like this, and then pick up your next bead, and exactly the same, skip the next bead. Wait a minute, come on now. Stick in focus, there we go. Skip the next bead, and through there. So you can work towards yourself or away, whichever's easier for you. Shazianne says she prefers to use, prefers to work away from herself. Some people prefer to work towards. Whatever is easier for you, just do that. So I'm sort of showing you all the different ways that you can do it. So there we go. If you put it down, how do you know where you've got to, says Jax. So if we have a look, I'll just zoom in. You can sort of see where your thread is coming out. Oh, in terms of the pattern. So in terms of the pattern, the easiest way, I will tell you once I've gotten a little bit further. Like, for example, I've got my little piece, which I'll show you this in a minute. I'll show you how to know where you're at a bit later. But you can always look which direction your thread is going as well. It's sort of, there's quite a few ways. So I'll just finish this off to get to the bottom. I'll continue working away from myself as Shazianne suggested. But like I said, you can work towards or away. Whatever's easier for you, you just do whatever makes you happiest. Whatever's comfortable, as they say. Then we go the next. Skip a bead. And up. Through there. Pull that nice and tight too. And you can see it's sort of starting to create that lovely little shape there. And then obviously the ones we haven't done yet have little holes just here. They're just all still in that single row. So now I'll continue on through the next. I haven't got too many beads left to do, which is good. Oops, skip one. Pull that nice and tight there. And again, I'll zoom out a little so that we can actually see what I'm doing a bit better. Through skip a bead and through the next. Oops. And again. And then we're on to the final 3 beads. Should be at least. Sure hope so. And then now we're on to the white ones. And then I can show you how to turn around. So down here, pick pick up my next one, skip a bead and in here, and then essentially you'll know you've done it right if you get to the end and you're having to exit, skip a bead and exit from the very last bead in your row. So if we have a little look, there's 3 little beads left. Bring it up a bit closer. There we go. So I'm coming out of this bead, I've got to skip that one, and I've got to go through this last bead before the stopper bead at the end. So through there, and out the end. This is even count peyote, by the way. Jax has just asked, is this even or odd count? This is even count peyote, which is a much easier of the two. So there we go. I'm coming out of that last bead, and now essentially what I'm going to do, you can see now I've got a whole little row of little beads, all jaggedy bits, and if we have a look at our pattern, we're now going to do row 4. So the best way to check how many rows you've already done, wait a minute, it says trust. Let's put it back into left-handed view, shall we? There we go. So if we have a look now, we're on to row 4. So row 4, we're going to be working from the left. So that means we're back over here, and if we grab our little thing, because we're working on an even start row, that means, here we go, there, oh, I'm out of shot. So here's the next row. So you can see I'm onto my even rows. That means that there is the gap there, just here, so I can fill that in, and then there you can see, there is, where are we? There we go. Have I got that right? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, and then... Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. I see what I've done. There we go. So, come on now. What a mess. So, yeah, the fourth row here we go. You can see that's just there. So, in that little gap, we've got an A. It's covered up a bit. But anyway, that's sort of the fourth row. So we're going to be plugging in the gaps. The way that you can count which row you're at is just count along the top zigzags. So row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. In fact, here's a better diagram of it. Here we go. So row 1 are all the red. Row 2 are all the blue. Row 3 are all the green. Row 4 are all the purple. And then yeah, after that, this one is row 5. And then this one here is row 6. And so on, all the way down. So yeah, what we're going to do now is row number 4. So looking at that little diagram, this is row 1. This is row 2, row 3, and now into row 4. Which, if we take a little look at our pattern, row 4, which I'll only do the first few beads of this one, is going to be 4 white beads, 3 red ones, and then I could continue filling them all out, but this is all I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to jump ahead a bit. So the fourth row here, it's important that you make sure you thread through the correct side when you're working. So you can see in this one, it's quite easy that they're all sort of on this sort of starting the diagonal. So it's important to make sure that you continue going through the right side of the beads. Otherwise, you end up twisting it all and it all sort of kind of comes out the wrong way. So we need to make sure that, here we go, we've come out of this, and so that we want to make sure what the previous ones were. From row 3, it was 3 A's. So we need to make sure we go through those 3 A beads as we start our next row. If we have a look on the other side, there's only 2 A's and then there's reds. So it's very important you make sure you go sort of back the way you came through row 3. So row 3 ended with 3 A beads, which means we need to make sure we're going through those 3 A beads. Here we go. So I'll just zoom in a bit. So through like this, we pick up our needle and we go back around. Wait a minute, I'll show you on the diagram. Here we go. We're picking up 1 bead and we're going to go down, up through that little bead on the opposite side. So put it back into right-handed view now. Here we go. So up here, we're going to go through this bead. So don't forget, we do need to go through. There's ups and down beads, as it were. We'll go through that little bead just here. Come on now, focus. There we go. Through that little bead there. My camera just did not want to focus just then, did it? Pull that, and then you can see it adds an extra little bead beside the one I was just working on, filling that little gap. Then we do the same again, which I'll work away from myself to start with, and then I'll work towards myself to see if that's easier for you. Through there, and pull that up. If you need to, you can always pull on both threads. Pull one down and one up if that's easier for you. Then pick up your next one and go through that next little bead along, which should be a white one. Oops, just out of shot there. So up the next white one. Pull that nice and tight. Then a fourth white one. Through there. And now we're on to our red beads. So if we pick up a red one, I'll put it down so that we can really see what's going on. Make sure it doesn't get twisted. So you can see it's sort of gotten twisted. I'll show you how you can tell that in just a second. So because, see how they're kind of going the opposite directions now? It's almost like a chevron shape. We know that there's become a twist in the beads. So we need to just flip that over and make sure that we're going to be going through the next bead to continue our pattern. This is the most difficult row. Row 4 is always the most difficult one because it's important that you go through the right beads as you're continuing. So in this particular one, it's important to make sure that your rows are sort of going to continue doing that same little shape. Otherwise, like Jermaine did when she was making her one, you can end up with little mistakes, which I'll show you very, very quickly. What can happen is, see this one? That's because it was twisted when she did row 4. So all the rest of it, that's why the stripe, that one bead, see, the white one and the red one are switched. It's because they were twisted when she did it. So you do need to be very, very careful that you're going through the right ones as you go through. So now what I need to do is pick up my next red bead, and we go through that, and that's going to help us to keep that nice sort of candy cane shape that we've got going. So just continue along, and now where was I at? 4 more A's, so I'll do an A. That's the first A. Not Thursday, first A. Pull that nice and tight. Continue along. Through there. Oops, make sure your thread doesn't get caught over your work there. Keep going. Through this one here. There we go. Pick up another white one. That's my 4th white one. Trying to do it on the table. I'll do a few more rows towards myself just to show those of you who preferred working towards themselves. So I'll just pop that over there. So now I need to do a red one. So again, I've just flipped it over so that I was working one way and now I'm just doing it the other way. So Elaine says, how do you fix the wrap onto the pen? If you glue it in place or zip it up and slide it on? I zip it up and slide it on. You'll see. I'm going to do it a bit later. It's nice and easy. It just slides straight on so that the pens are interchangeable, which I'll show you that a bit later. Nice and easily, I would say. So there we just continue on. 1 more red bead. Then I've done 3 reds. This one's a nice easy pattern to do because it's pretty much always 3 reds followed by 4 whites and so on till we get to the end. So there we go, I've done my 3 reds. Now I'll do a few white ones. So through, whoops, just out of shot there, sorry. Keep on going. Make sure you don't get twisted. Pull, 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 pull. And then the next one. And you can see my sort of stripes are starting to take shape, aren't they? And, ooh, dropped a bead there. Just continue along. Working as we go. And one more white one. Whoops. There we go. And now red. And we've almost finished this row. Here we go. So just up through that little bead there. And then one more red one. And then finally, one last little red one to finish this row so that we're coming out of this bead at the very, very end. Because if we're coming out of the bead at the end, it means we can put another bead just beside it. So there we go. It's all starting to come together really nicely, isn't it? So now what I'll do is just flip my work over so that I'm back at the bottom again. And what I'm going to do now is start with row number 5. So if we have a look at what row 5 says it needs to be, we've got, oh, it's in the wrong view. Wait a second. There we go. So row number 5 now, we've got 3 Bs, 4 As, 3 Bs, 4 As, 3 Bs, 4 As. Like I said, super duper easy. So the Bs are the reds, so pick up 1 red bead. And then you can see we've turned around now, and we're going to just start filling all of these little gaps with our beads once more to continue along. And essentially, you just keep going along in this process until you've done all of your rows, which in total there's 42 that you would need to do. And your pattern will really start taking shape and coming together and looking really fantastic. See that? Comes together quite quickly, quite nicely, quite easily. As long as you sort of follow your pattern, you won't have any troubles now because it's really easy. You can't accidentally put them in the wrong side anymore. As long as you follow that pattern, you're fine and dandy and laughing all the way to your little pen wrap heaven. So there you go, see? So that's sort of really coming together now. So let's jump ahead now, shall we? And let's show you how to zip up, which I've got some. Shazian says, after stitching upwards and downwards, which way do you prefer now? So, I mean, I kind of do a bit of both. I kind of tend to do away and towards, so that I can always see my pattern, because I'm kind of happy with it. I can kind of work either way, whichever one works best for the row I'm doing, but you know, it's just a matter of preference. But anyway, once you've got another one finished, like I've got this particular one here finished, or shall I zip up? I want to zip up Santa. I'm going to zip up Santa because I think that's going to be really fun. So when you've finished, your little stopper bead will be at one end and your working thread will be at the complete opposite corner. So there you can see you've got your little stopper bead here, and then here is my working thread all the way at the opposite end right there. So I'm going to show you now how to stitch it up, and then I'll show you how to do a little picot, because I think I might do a little picot with my other one here, just to sort of show you, if you prefer, whichever way, so that you can show you how you can sort of swap them. But anyway, so with my thread just here, my working thread, I'll pick that up and I'm going to stick my needle onto that thread now. So wait a minute, get my little thread. I love this Santa pattern. What do you guys think of the Santa pattern? Do you like it? I really like the Christmas lights as well, but because we've got a red pen and a green pen, I thought it was quite a fun one to sort of play with. that you could even put your Santa on your red pen. You could put your Christmas lights on a green pen, you know, whatever takes your fancy. Oh yeah, the tension. So yes, I'll show you something just quite quickly. Your tension as well will quite vary how stiff your piece will be. So if you can see just here, this side was done with a much looser tension so that it's quite soft, a little bit wider apart, a little bit easier, but the first few rows were done with a firmer tension, which you can see they don't really quite fold the same way. They're quite a solid section like that, where the looser ones are a little bit more flowy. So if you've got the firmer tension, because I tend to work with a firm tension, like this one here is done with a really firm tension. This side is quite loose and soft, but you can sort of just do as you prefer. If you do it that little bit looser, they do fit around the pen really nicely. If you do them nice and tight, it's a very snug fit around the pen. But, you know, sort of play around with your tension, but you can see that you do get a difference. See how firm that is to squeeze? And then you do the same over here, and it just smushes much, much easier. So that's a soft tension, and this is a firm tension, just to see that difference. Holds its shape a bit better, but this one potentially is a little bit easier to work with to get around the pen. So anyway, what we're going to do now is stitch our two sides together. So what we do essentially is take this end here and we're going to fold it over and start stitching through the other end. So the reason it's important that you're at one end and the opposite is because then your little jaggedy edges are opposite. So see how at the top of this row it's an in bead, and then at the top of this row, it's an out bead. And then if you look at the second one, this one's an out, and this one's an in. In, out, out, in, out. And so they will fit really nicely together when it comes to zipping it up. So, with my thread coming out the bottom here, I'm going to just fold this over, and you can see, there you go, look, the teeth sort of line up with each other really nicely so that I can zip them up. Exactly like a zip. So really, really easy to do. So I'll just keep this thread out the way for now. My thread with the stopper bead on. Keep that out the way. And I'm going to start threading up Santa's back. I'm stitching zipping Santa's back up. So with my thread coming out of here, I'm going to go through... Wait, I'll put it on the table, hopefully. I think I'm just a touch too zoomed in for the camera's liking. So coming out of here, I'm going to go through this bead here. So just through that little bead on the opposite side. Pull that up. And then if I just sort of fold them over, it'll go fairly tight together. Then I'll go through the little sticky outy bead on this side here. So on the back side where I was just before, pull that through. Then I'll go the sticky outy bead back on this side again. Pull that through. By the way, if you're new and you've never seen me before and you're enjoying this tutorial, you like how I do the diagrams, you think it's really nice and easy to follow and everything, please like, share, subscribe, but also check out the little link there in the description, because that will take you to the spot where you can sign up for our newsletter, and we also give you £5 worth of patterns that you can download, but it's the best way to know what's coming and when. So I'm going to just continue going from sticky outy bead on each side to sticky outy bead on the other. Elaine says, do you work from the front of the pattern or the back of the pattern? Does it matter? The answer is no, because the beads are the same on both sides. It looks exactly the same on both sides. So if you have a little look on the inside here, there's little Santa's buttons and whatnot, and then from the other side it looks exactly the same. So there is no inside and there is no outside until you start zipping, more or less. So you can see just here, I've got a lovely big diagram which I can show you. If we continue, let's just move along. You can see I've worked up and up and up and on and away along, and this is the point where we would zip up. So there you go. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm going from one little piece to the other side, sticky out bead to sticky out bead, left to right to left to right to left to right, all the way down Santa's back there. So you can see the little thread joining them, and then as you pull it, they link together and you can't even see where I joined. So then we go through the up bead here, pull that nice and firm, through the up bead on the opposite side, pull that nice and firm. By the way, guys, don't forget, as always, I'll just pop it up on the screen real quickly, not for too long. If you want to be featured on the show tomorrow, because we do our little segment where we show off all the things that you've been making or what you've been doing, it doesn't have to be anything that we've been doing, but send us pictures of what you've been making, what you've been doing, what you've been cooking, how you've been spending your time, whatever it is. Send us pictures to live@beadspider.co.uk and we will get you shown on the show tomorrow. So tomorrow's show at the end, I'm going to try and show all of those pictures that get sent in. So live@beadspider.co.uk. I don't care what you've been doing, what you've been making. Send us your pictures and be part of the show. But yeah, so let's just keep going. You can see he's really starting to come together now. Pull that nice and tight. And then I'll show you how to do the Picot with the green piece, so that we can see all the different designs. Well, not all. There's 5 different designs in total. The snowman, I think, might be my favourite, though. Jermaine, lots of you love the Santa, I think, but the snowman is potentially my favourite. It's kind of similar as this Santa with his scarf, but with his belt, but it's a snowman with a scarf. So yeah, you can see I'm just going from one side to the other, weaving all the way up. So you can see just here, see those threads? Just pull those tight and they disappear. See that? Through the next up bead. And if you're feeling particularly fancy, you can go through 2 beads at once. Wait a minute. So see that? I've gone through the up bead on this side and on the other side. And that's doing 2 beads at once. That saves a little bit of time. If you know, once you start getting the hang of it, getting the swing of it, you can go through 2 beads, both the left side and the right side at the same time. And you can see our little pen wrap is really starting to take shape. And then I'll show you how you stick it on the wrap. And then I'm going to go through and show you how to add the picots. And then, as promised, I'm going to go through and show you what I wasn't able to show you on Wednesday because we had a bit of camera trouble. And hopefully everything will be all back to good again, because it is the woven chain that I showed you on Wednesday. If you missed that tutorial, it all went a bit awry, a bit astray, so I'm going to show you that one, even though it is all on sale still. So let's just go through a few more. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, zipping right away. I can't help myself. Sometimes when I'm doing my beading, I just sit there and sing. It annoys Maxine, I tell you, to no end. I'm always singing. And my favourite thing to do is changing the lyrics. More times than ever is changing the lyrics to Jermaine if I can. So whenever there's a word, like for example, what was the name of that song? I'm trying to think. Carly Simone, is it? You know, you're so vain. I love doing it in the you're Jermaine version instead of you're so vain, because it's always fun. My sister started the trend on putting my mum's name into videos, into songs. There we go. I'm almost finished now, and I love to do it even to this day. So here we go. I've got my last little bead there. And there we go. It's all stitched up now, and essentially it's ready to go onto a pen. I haven't woven them off yet. It's important that you, if you have a little look, see on the top, there's little thread bridges joining each of the beads. I haven't got a thread bridge between these 2 beads yet. So the last thing that you need to do is make sure that you come up and then go down that little thread, that bead, which is essentially where we started from before. So keep your tail thread out the way the best you can. Pull that. Oh, is my tail thread through? Yes, it is. There we go. And then pull that through there. And then I'll show you a quick way to weave off. I'll weave off one side, and then I'll show you how to do the picots. But yeah, so weaving one side off, just weave down into your work a few rows. And then this is the quick way that doesn't involve any knots. So I've just woven down to come out of this bead, and this is how I like to tie them off. So instead of jumping down one, I'm going to jump across, so over to the one beside, and then up through that bead. And essentially, I'm going to make a little circle. So see how my thread's coming out here? I'm going to go back down this same bead so that it creates a little circle. So as I pull that nice and tight into that gap, I'll go back into a circle, into that little bead, that same little spot there, pull it nice and tight, and then down into that same bead that we were in just a second ago, pull that nice and tight, and then we've sort of done a little round the houses that locks it in. Then we go down a bead, we can go down a couple even if we want to, and we just do the same process again, the little round the houses process that locks them in place. So I'll show you very closely again. We jump across this time instead of down or up. We jump across to the bead beside, and then as we pull that up, you can see there's a little loop, and I'm going to go down that bead that we were just exiting from, same bead as just a few seconds ago, pull that tight, and then again you've got a lovely little circle that's going to create a nice firm little piece that isn't going to come undone. Weave down a few beads, and then we can just snip that little thread off, which if we just come in with some nice thread scissors, teeny weeny little fellas, and just cut that thread, and that's going to be secured. And now I would just do exactly the same. I'd take off my little stopper bead, like I've done just there, and I would weave this one exactly the same way. And then once you're finished, you can take your little snowflake, you undo your little pen there, slide off one, so which, here you go, you can see there's my little snowflake pattern, lots of little snowflakes all on there, looks gorgeous. And we go, there we go, okay, so this is going to be Santa's head. Here you can see the difference in tensions, by the way, like this. So see how this one's a bit smushy and floppy? This one holds its shape really well. This is a firmer tension, this is a looser tension. But the looser tension definitely goes onto the pen a lot easier. So if we have a little look, this goes onto the pen super easily, like so. Now this one, it's a little bit more of a jiggle to push it on. You can hear the difference, how much tighter it is trying to get that one on. But yeah, so it's up to you whether you do the tighter or the looser. Actually, I want to put it on the red pen, just because I want to see how Santa looks on a red pen, because I think it'll look way cooler. So here's my little red pen. Unscrew that, which this is a Pilot G2 pen. The reason I've chosen these pens is because they're super common. You can get them off our website, but otherwise you can get them plenty of other places. They are very, very common pens to get, so it's easy to add on to them. So there you go. There is Santa's little belt there on my pen, looking great. Loving that. How does that look? What do you think of Santa's little pen there? Not Santa's little helper. But yeah, I've also, you can see there's a little gap here and a little gap here in case you want to do the fringing, which is exactly what I'm about to do. But there you go. There's my little Santa pen there. Santa penny. Just there, ready to work with. So I'm going to show you now how to add on a picot. You can do this when it's in a circle already, or you can do this like you could do it when it's in the circular shape already, or you can do it when it's flat. But I'm going to do it when it's flat, so it's nice and easy for you to see exactly what I'm doing. So again, I'm going to work with just one of the threads, it doesn't matter which. Stick your needle, if I can find it, onto the end there, and then I'm going to add the little picot. The picot is super duper easy to add. So in this particular one, if we have a little look, because they're Christmas lights, see that little Christmas lights? I don't have like a black on the top of my Christmas lights here, so I'm going to add it in the picot, I think. It's not necessary, but I think I'll add it. So if I just thread my needle again. Also, best thing about, you know, the Spider-Lon thread is you never have to worry about threading your needles. It's super easy. So I will put away my white beads. I think I'm going to just use my sort tray and pick them up. Get them all on there. And let's pick up these red beads. And let's get out a couple of green and a couple of black, because I'm only going to need a few. A couple of green, a couple of black. And then I'm going to show you the woven chain, as promised. Because I know a lot of you were very disappointed that you missed out on the 5-strand plait, which is this one. Whoops. There we go. This is the 5-strand plait. I'm going to show you that in about 5 minutes' time. So just bear with. Won't be long. So now I've got my little needle attached. Picots are unbelievably easy to add in this particular sense. You just pick up 3 beads, which I'll go 2 black, one black, 1 green, 1 black, and then you just weave down the next bead along. So there we go. Down that next bead along. And that's going to create a cute little Picot fringe. See that? Then I'll pick up a black, a green, and a black. Oh no, not yet, not yet, not yet. I need to go back up. So I'm coming out of the bottom of this bead here. Zoom in a teeny weeny bit more. Coming out of the bottom of here. And up. Through that next one. And just pull that up nice and firm. So there we go. Black, green, and black. Like so. And then you just go down the next bead. And you just sort of continue along like that, adding that nice little fringing. You do it at the top and you do it at the bottom, all the way. Oh, no, I keep forgetting that part. Thread back up the next bead. And then pick up, pull that nice and firm. Pick up your next few beads and weave down there as well. Now, what you will find is because we've got an even number, an odd number, there will be one space. So what I like to do, which I'll show you exactly what you'll end up with. I'll just do it nice and flat because you will be like, oh no, what do I do now? So if we just, I'll add an extra picot so that you'll see what it looks like at the very, very end and how to fix it. You'll never notice it. It's on the blue one, and it's very unlikely that you'll notice it. So let's just add in a gap, because this is what it will be like when you finish your little picot, when you go to stitch them together. How you fill that little gap, so I'll just show you what it looks like with a gap and how to fill it. Because essentially when you get to the end, because you've got an odd number of beads, you will have this tiny little gap here, like this, which if that gap doesn't bother you, then don't worry about it. It's only the tiniest little thing and you'd never see it anyway. But if you want to fill that gap, it is very, very easy. All you've got to do is just weave back down your work and come out of just 1 bead. So the bottom of these black beads here. So see, just here, I'm going to weave up so that I'm coming out of one of the beads on one side of that little... Wayne asks, could you use a brick stitch? Yes, you certainly can, Wayne. Because they've got little gaps between each thread, you can also brick stitch here if you prefer. You can brick stitch there, which is a great question from Wayne. If you wanted to could you use a brick stitch here? Yes, you certainly can. So yeah, see how there's a gap there? I'm through that bead. I'll pick up 1 green bead and I'll go down that black bead beside and back into my work. And you'll see it just plugs that little hole. There you go. Look at that. Easy fix. And then you can just continue on as though it never even happened. So you'd never know that there was a gap. You can make a gap if you want to. But yeah, the little extra beads on the end sort of just add a little something to it, which, as Connie suggests, she says, no, it's not showing. Wait, put it back into left-handed view and then maybe it will. Here we go. Connie says, really like those extra beads on there. Good. I'm glad you like them. That's why I've done it. But yeah, so then you can see, I'll show you once it's all fully finished, is if we have a look here, if it's going to focus, you can see I've just, I'll see if I can even find where I've joined the two to hide the gap. There you go. So there you go. You can see it almost looks exactly the same all the way around when you add that little fringing, but that one there, the beads are sitting ever so slightly more sideways. So from a distance, you'd absolutely never notice It looks completely like it's just fully fringed with no gaps, but you'll know that you just filled in one little space. So it looks really super effective, but essentially that is all you've got to do to fill in that little edging along the top. You just continue along until you get to the end, and then when it's stitched together, you've got a beautiful little fringe. Right, are we ready for some woven chain? As promised, because I missed out on it yesterday, I've tried to make this tutorial a little bit quicker so that you won't get bored, and then I can show you all about the woven chain. Lastly, Jermaine did bring me in something, which I will show you though, about tomorrow's video. I've only got some of them here, the patterns, for the sorts of things that you will learn as part of tomorrow's little brick stitch tutorial. So I've got little mittens, which is super cute. There's a snowman, there's Christmas trees, there's jumpers, there's Santas, there's stockings, there's polar bears, there's wreaths, there's presents, there's a mug, lots and lots of different designs. Those are the sorts of things that are included in that brick stitch set that includes all of these beads, all of those findings, all of those things together, those little patterns. That's a quick little sample of the 27 patterns that you get included as well. So let's just have a little look now at the woven chain as promised from yesterday. So woven chain, in case you haven't seen it, we've got two little bundles. Let me just bring them over. In case you missed it, because I know Wayne was here and he wanted to see it for sure, the 5-strand plait. The woven chain is this material here. It is a almost like Viking knit woven metal chain. It's made from brass. It's extremely high quality, but it's fantastic for making your necklaces, your bracelets. You can make decorations with it. You can... This is color number 1, by the way. We've got 3 different bundles, which I should show you. This is the round woven chain in the purple, the magenta ombre. We've also got the set just here, which is our Cleopatra, I think it was called, which is this set just here, and you get a discount, double discount if you want to get all of them together. That is all the colors that you'll get together, which you can plait and weave and put memory wire through. So for example, Pandora style beads fit on, memory wire goes through it because it's a hollow tubing. You can use these double end cap fellas as well, and it is a gorgeous material to work with, but super strong as well. See, there is your woven chain on the memory wire. It just goes straight through, and you can just swap your little beads however you want in there, and it's a really effective looking little bangle. Of course, you can also do the leather, which if you get our bundle that includes the purple ombre and the Cleopatra gold, which is on double discount, you also get our 20 patterns for free of these peyote tubes that you can make into these sorts of things here that you can thread into either onto like leather like this, which is a great little clasp on there, or you can thread them straight onto the woven chain itself as well, which I'll show you very quickly just here. So here's the silver tubing. If you've got a clasp on the end, especially if you've got a really good one, you can just take your little chain, pop your chain in through the middle there, and it makes this gorgeous little bracelet piece. So just chilling there like that. So see that? So they're really effective. This is included as the free gift, by the way. Now, as promised, I'll just run through. This is the flat woven chain. This stuff here, which you can plait as well with the round woven chain, which is this one just here, but you get a slightly different look. So this one, you get a really nice sort of thicker texture. It's great for necklaces maybe. And then you've got the flat woven chain, which is great for bracelets. So the woven chain, again, it is a fantastic product to create with and design and play with. We've got free instructions, which if you have a look at the link in the description, if you're on YouTube, it's down the bottom. If you're on Facebook, it's up the top. It says view previous previous tutorials, it'll take you to the page where you can get the free instructions on how to use this woven chain, which includes the 4-strand plait and the 5-strand plait, which I'm about to show you. You've got little ribbon end findings as well, but here we go. These are the 2 other bundles that we've got. So the leather bundle, which is included, there's 2 colors of 4mm woven leather, which again, those tubes will fit over the top, the same clasps, like all these gorgeous magnetic clasps that we have. They're all in that same product category. They're all available. Same with sort of like end caps that you can plug into if you wanted to have like 4 or 5 strands coming out of the one little cap, or even just maybe 3 strands coming out of a cap like this. There's all sorts of things that you can do with it, but my personal favorite, much like that demo piece that I showed you, is to plait with it. So here's like a really nice silver piece with the 3-strand plait, and it's just using some little ribbon ends. But all of this, as I said, is in that category page. Hopefully I can put a link on, or Jermaine. Yes, here we go. So Jermaine has just put a little link onto YouTube. It will be there on Facebook in just a second, I'm sure. But yeah, that's where you'll be able to find the product category for all of these different things. It's great as well for pendants on little necklaces. If you want to hang pendants, it's a great little design for that too. No, she hasn't put the comment on Facebook yet, but hopefully soon. So there, now it is. Now it's there. So, yeah, you can put your pendants on, which we sell pendants and the bales as well. And like I said, the Pandora-style beads, like these ones here, are 30% off. So, again, you can put them on the leather, which this is a nice little necklace. You can also attach the little bracelet piece inside of that, which if you're using magnetic clasps is super... Oh, what am I doing? There we go. It's really easy to just add in an extra piece to make your necklace just that a little bit longer if you want to. If you want it to be a little bit longer, or you just make it shorter, depending on what you are wearing. Very, very easy to do that. But now, let's get to the plaiting part. So you can have the woven chain. This is the flat woven chain, by the way. I should show you the bundle. The bundle, it's £12 and comes with 6 colours of flat woven chain, which you get a silver woven chain, flat chain, the gold flat chain, the silver flat chain, the black flat chain, a really nice deep purple. You've got that sort of burgundy red, which is quite similar to our Christmas, isn't it? And then you've got that really lovely sort of coppery brown tone as well. All of these are included in that flat chain bundle, which that makes like a nice bracelet even on its own, don't you think? Look at that. It's kind of cool. Anyway, if you... Where have I put my demo piece? Here it is. If you want to have a look at how I do 5-strand plait, it's very, very easy. The chain itself is extremely easy to cut. So you just use a pair of old scissors. Don't use like cutters, for example, these sorts of cutters. Don't use these. Just use some old scissors, because the scissors will cut the chain little by little by little. Each of the little links that joins will get cut, rather than trying to cut the whole thing at once. Because like they say with a bundle of sticks versus one stick, it's much easier to break one stick than a whole bundle, and it's the same process with the scissors. It cuts the link one by one by one by one, rather than cutting them all simultaneously. So let's have a look at how to do a nice 5-strand plait. Whoops, wait a second, just dropped it. There we go. So here is our flat woven chain, and I'm going to turn it into a 5-strand plait, like how I've done just here. So again, they've just got a little ribbon end on the end, plus a clasp. Lay it out nice and flat. Obviously, you can do the plaiting loose or tight, however you prefer. I might just use a little needle here to sort of help keep it in place, like that. There's my little needle. That should keep it in place there. And what I'll do is just separate them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in separate directions. So this is going to be chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, chain 4, and chain 5 for this step. So the first thing we do is take chain 5 over the top of chain 4. Then we take chain 3 over the top of chain 5. So now chain 5 is right in the middle. We take chain 1 over the top of chain 2 and pull it out to the side, because the more we pull them out, the tighter it will be. And then we take this one here, which was our chain 5, over the top and cross them over. Just like that there. And now if we lay them out, you can see we've got a whole new set of chains ready to plait. So if we start again, this becomes 1, this becomes 2, this becomes 3, this becomes 4, this becomes 5. So we take number 5 over the top of number 4, pull it out to the right. We take number 3 over the top of this number 5. And then again, because we want to keep it nice and tight, I pull it all the way up. Here we go. We take the number 1 over the top of number 1. Sorry, number 1 over the top of number 2, and then we take number 5 here over the top, like so, and then we're in position to start again. So I'll do a couple more repetitions. You probably won't need to see it too many more times. So again, we've got the new chain number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So we take number 5 over number 4. We take number 3 over number 5, so that number 5 is back into the middle. We take number 1 over number 2, and then we take number 5 over number 3. So pull that nice and tight again, and we'll progress once more. And then once you've got the hang of it, you can do it quite quickly, like so. Take this over here, that one over there, and that one over there. And then it comes together really, really quickly, really nicely, and looks absolutely spectacular. So we'll do it again once more. 5 over 4. This one over this. Pull that in the middle. This one over here. And then back over the top there. And you can see it comes together super duper quickly. You can do it in your hands if you prefer like that, but otherwise it does come together really, really nicely and tightly and quickly. And then when you want to finish up, you just bring all of your pieces down into the middle together. Try not to cross them over or anything, so that they stay sort of fairly where they should be, so that your plait doesn't come undone anywhere. Keep it nice and tight, and then see how they're all relatively nicely aligned like this. You just try and cut them all at exactly this point. So like I said, with old scissors, you would snip, 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 snip. Spend your time cutting the chain. Just your old, haggard, worst scissors. Don't use good scissors because it will blunten them. But yeah, you just cut them across. Take the ribbon end, slide the ribbon end over the top as before, which actually, do you know what? If I had some bad scissors, I would... Oh, I do have some bad scissors. I'm going to cut a piece that I had yesterday. Here we go. And I'll flatten the ends. So if we have a little look, I'll show you a little ribbon end piece, because I'm pretty sure I've got one. Or do I? Maybe I don't. No, I don't have another ribbon end. Well, that kind of puts the end of that. Oh well, fair enough. So anyway, I'll show you how easily it cuts. And then, like I said, all you would do is just take your ribbon end. So if you've got your little black piece like this, and you wanted to cut it, say, if you wanted to make like a little earring or something, the wane, how much does the length shorten when you plait? So it does shorten a little, but not huge amounts. So instead of being dead straight, you can see this one here is just that little bit shorter. It's not that much shorter, but a little. Not hugely shortened. Maybe, I don't know, 10% shorter, 10 or 15% shorter. So not too much of a difference. But anyway, if you want to have a look at how you cut it, like I said, you use your worst scissors that you've got, the cheapy ones. And this works with both the flat and also the round. This is the round chain. So you can see it's circular all the way around. And then you just come in with your scissors and then just very gently in position, go loose, snip, 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 just gently. And eventually, it all just cuts like this. And you can see these are all of those teeny weeny tiny little links that we've just cut. So see that? You do lose a teeny weeny little bit, but like I said, it just cuts all the little links rather than trying to cut all the big links at the same time. So that way, when you want to add on an end, for example, you can see it's a little bit raggedy at the end. That's no problem. It's malleable, so you can just squeeze it with your fingers a little. And then if you've got like a nice little magnetic clasp or a cap that you want to stick it into, here's a nice magnetic clasp. You can put it straight inside there and then just glue it. Just like that. Or even if you wanted to hang a charm, you could use like a slightly smaller cap, like this one here, where it has the loop on the end. And then you just pop it in. So like I said, it's important to just squeeze it down. If you haven't squeezed it down, like for example, this end, I haven't squeezed it yet. Let's zoom in a bit, shall we? I haven't squeezed this end in yet. And you can see it doesn't quite fit into the end, doesn't want to go in. So like I said, you just very gently, because it's hollow, it will all squeeze down just like that and just pop straight inside your cone, and you get a really nice, neat, snug finish there. Which lastly, I'll just show you if I can find it. Yes, here we go. Just to show you how it works, this is my favorite usage for it, is a little bit of memory wire. And then you just, because it's hollow, again, you can just thread it straight through. What color shall I do? Let's do this gold. And then you just take it through the end, because it threads just straight in. Take your memory wire on, just little by little, just weave it round. Should come through. And then you can see it just sort of weaves nicely around until eventually you've got it all the way around. And look at that. My entire piece of memory wire is now covered with chain and looks fantastic. So look at that. It gives it really firm shape now using just that little bit of memory wire, which we also sell necklace memory wire if you wanted to do it as a necklace piece. But the great thing about the woven chain, it's so flexible just because when you need it to, I'll zoom in so we can really see what I'm doing, and I'll do it with the black. Is that one going to show off the best? Let's have a look. The gold, I think. So you can see there's all these little, come on now, focus. There we go. So you can see it's like a Viking knit. When you want it to be stretched out, it's stretched. When you want it to compress, it compresses. So see that? It's got the space to stretch and compress. So that's what gives it that really soft maneuverability, even though it's a solid, like, brass chain. Very, very high quality brass chain. Come on, focus. There we go. It allows you to compress and strand so that if you want to wrap it around your finger, wherever you need it to be tight, it's tight. Wherever you need it to be loose, it's loose. So for example, when it's a tight weave like this, the outer edges are all really, really stretched, and then the inner side is all compressed. So that's why it gives you this fantastic tight little wraps if you wanted to. Like for example, if you were using ring memory wire, you could make like a necklace, like a wine glass charm. That would go nicely around the flute of a wine glass, wouldn't it? And that's just using a little bit of memory wire, ring size memory wire. And then I'll just show you again the difference between the flat and the round. So I'll show you them in both the gold and the silver. So the flat chain, you can see it's 4 by 2 mil, where the round chain, which is fantastic if you want to use it for like a necklace, it's round all the way round. So if I put them side by side, you can mix them, of course, like what we've done with this piece just here, is that you can use your, no, that's not the one I wanted, this one. Here we go. You can use a little cap with a clasp to a single piece there, and then you can even do a nice plait this is the diamond webbing material, which is quite fun. Again, it should be in that same little product category. You can see how sparkly it is, catches the light really nicely. But there, you can, if you prefer, you can do it with all metal, or you can put some of the leather in. But then you've got this beautiful plaited little piece just there, and then a single piece, so that you're not having to have all the plaits all the way down. But this is a 9mm cap, which is a great way of using multiple pieces. But yeah, that pretty much shows you all the different ways that you can use it. Hopefully, let's just zoom out a little. Hopefully you'll be joining me tomorrow. The best way to make sure that you don't miss tomorrow's show is to head to that little link up there in the description that will show you, sign up to the Bead Spider newsletter, because that is the best way. Oh, by the way, this comes undone really easily if you've made a mistake with your plaiting. You can see it just comes undone really easily there. Look at that. Easy peasy. What did you think of the 5-strand plait, by the way, with the purple and silver? It does look gorgeous, even just straight, doesn't it? Look at that. Looks really effective. Anyway, so hopefully you enjoyed the... is it all going to work here? Let's hope so. I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial, that you liked my little Santa pen wrap there. And also my little snowflake and how to do the Picot and everything. I hope you will be able to join me tomorrow, where I show you how to make some of these really gorgeous little brick stitch fellas. I don't know, what do you reckon? Shall I do the mug, or maybe the wreath here? I think maybe the wreath's quite interesting because it's got a big hole in the middle. But yeah, so that's what's going to be on tomorrow. The woven chain I've just showed you, that is available from the Bead Spider website. So if you head to our website, you'll be able to get that massive Christmas bundle, which is 30% off. So don't miss out on that one. 30% off is a great deal. You get all the delicas. You've got loads and loads of findings included as well. You've got a bonus pen for free, which we give you a black one. You've got the pen wrap patterns included. So you get all 27, it is actually, of the Christmas patterns, plus some blanks to make your own. And you also get your pen wrap patterns, the complete guide to brick stitch pattern as well, the booklet. You get the little booklet about how to use the findings, all of that included in one, plus your beads. All of it is there together for you, on sale for at least the next week or so. So don't miss out on that one. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. You can see I've been making a big fat mess back here behind me. But anyway, so thanks very much for joining me. I'm glad it's kind of worked a little bit better today. It still seems like the camera's a bit jerky, but luckily I've got a new camera. So hopefully that shouldn't be an issue from tomorrow. It'll be all fixed, fine and dandy, finally. But yeah, thanks very much for joining me. Let's see. We've had Shazianne just sent one. She said, it's beautiful stuff. Jax also says she's going to try and catch me tomorrow if she can. Shazianne as well. She said, thank you for the lovely tutorial. I need to finish my project so that I can start on the kits for the little wreaths discovered yesterday, which, yeah, that's another one that we did. We've been doing lots of tutorials, but don't forget, everyone, I almost forgot, where is it? Send us your pictures, live@beadspider.co.uk. Just there is the email address. Pictures of what you've been doing, what you've been making, what you've been getting up to, all of that sort of thing, so that I can get you onto the show, onto the stream, and show off what you've been making, because it's a really nice little part of the tutorials that we do, is showing off all your hard work, all the lovely things that you've been making, sort of presenting them off to everyone and showing that all off. Wayne says thank you. Yes, is that a giant reel of Spiderlon? Yes, it is. This is how it comes from the factory, which we have to sort of spool out, I guess, because otherwise it's a bit too much maybe. But yeah, thanks to everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you'll be joining me tomorrow. If you haven't, go and grab yourself a £5 voucher on our patterns. There's a link in the description, which if you're not signed up already, you can get that one-time code just by signing up. You just go to the link in the description which says sign up for more patterns and free tutorials. It says Bead Spider newsletter. click that, sign up, and you'll be emailed with a £5 code to use on any of our beading patterns. So if you want to get the pen wraps or something, you can get that included, you know, whatever it is. If you want to get any patterns, you've got a £5 to try out some of our patterns, which if you liked my little diagrams, such as this little fella here, this is a nice example of the sorts of things that you will sort of get as in the instructions. Look, that's an example of the artwork. We try and make them nice and clear, easy to follow, so that you won't have any troubles when you're trying to make these things. But yeah, I guess I'll see you all tomorrow, 3 p.m. in the UK as usual. It'll be me. I'll be here. We're going to be doing some brick stitch, making some cute little Christmassy things. I'm not sure which one I'm going to make yet. I'm going to have a bit of a play this afternoon. I know the products say that they don't have pictures yet. That's because I've still got to make some even. I want to make more of them. I've only got maybe 3 or 4 made so far, or 5. So I need to make a few extra so I can make a good picture. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I will see you all tomorrow at 3 p.m. Please do share, like, subscribe, all of that, especially now that the show's over, so that we can sort of spread the word and let people know about what's coming tomorrow. Yeah, thanks very much for watching. I hope you are having a lovely day wherever it is that you are watching from, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.